Hi guys and welcome back. So I was getting ready with some really cute spring projects and I decided to make a nest with two little birds in it. This project is really simple. I'm going to show you in detail how to make the little bird. Before we get started, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to get notified every time I post a video. So let's get started. So here are all the supplies that you need to make this project. I'm going to be using medium 4 worsted weight yarn throughout. I'm using Red Heart Super Saver. I like to make my bird in different colors, so I'm going to be using the green, spring green for the body, and I'm going to be using some crimson for the wings. I also have some orange yarn which I'm going to be using for the beak as well as the little feet. Along with all of this yarn, I'm going to be using a 3mm crochet hook. So generally medium 4 worsted weight yarn does ask for a much larger hook. So if you see over here it says 5.5mm, but I tend to crochet pretty loose, and with Amigurumi it's always better that you go in for a smaller hook so that your holes are a lot smaller. Along with all of this, you're going to need safety eyes along with the backing, some stuffing, a yarn needle, a stitch marker, and a pair of scissors. So now we're going to get started with the head and the body. So take whatever is your main color and we're going to start with a magic ring. So hold your yarn in 2 fingers like this. Wrap it around the back of your fingers to create an X. Insert your crochet hook into the bottom. Pick up the top and twist, and then just pull up a loop. You have a magic ring ready. Into this magic ring, you're going to place 6 single crochets. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now tug on the tail end of the magic ring to close it up. For row number 2, you're going to place an increase all the way around, or into every single crochet, you're going to place 2 single crochets. So we're going into that very first stitch right here, and into that stitch you're going to place 1 and 2, into the next one again 1, into the same one 2, into the next one 1, into the same one 2, and you're going to do this 6 times all the way around until you have 12 stitches for this row. So I've placed a stitch marker on my 12th stitch to keep track of my rows. Now for the next row, into that first stitch we're going to place 1 single crochet. Into the one after that we're going to place an increase or 2, 1 and 2, again 1, into the next one 1 and 2, into the next one again 1, into the one after that 1 and 2, and you're going to do this 6 times all the way around, 1 1 2 1 1 2, until you have 18 stitches for this row. Now for the next row, you're going to place 2 single crochets followed by an increase. So 1 on the first stitch, 1 on the second stitch, into the third one 1 and 2, again 1 1 1 2, and you're going to do this 6 times all the way around until you have 24 stitches for this row. Now for the next 3 rows, you're just going to place 1 single crochet all the way around for 24 stitches per row. So complete the next 3 rows and then meet me back here again. Now once your repeat rows are done, this is what it should look like. Now for the next row, we're going to do our first row of decreases. So we're going to place 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, and into the third stitch we're going to place a decrease. To place a decrease, if you see every stitch has a V, we're going to split this and just pick up the loop which is facing towards us. Into the next stitch, again split the V, pick up the stitch which is facing towards us, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Let's do that one more time. Place your first single crochet, your second single crochet. Now to do a decrease again, we're going to split this first stitch, pick up only the loop facing towards us. Into the next one, split it up, pick up the loop only facing towards us, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And you're going to do this 6 times all the way around until you have 18 stitches for this row. Now for the next row, you're going to place 2 single crochets followed by an increase, and you're going to do this 6 times all the way around until you have 24 stitches for this row. Now for the next row, you're going to place 3 single crochets followed by an increase. So 1 on the first one, 1 on the second one, 1 on the third one, into the fourth one, 1 and 2. And you're going to do this 6 times all the way around until you have 30 stitches for this row. Now before we go ahead, between rows 5 and 6, we're going to place the safety eyes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to push in 1 right here and then leave 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and place another one right here. Once I'm happy with the placement of the eyes, I'll attach the safety at the back. Now for the next 6 rows, you're just going to place 1 single crochet all the way around for 30 stitches for each of the rows. So complete the next 6 rows and then meet me back here again. Now we're going to start forming the bottom part of the bird. So to do that, first you're going to place a decrease into the first and the second stitch. Now in the next 8 stitches, you're going to place 1 single crochet each. And then in the next 2 stitches, again you're going to place a decrease. And now in all the remaining stitches till you reach the end, you'll be placing 1 single crochet each. And this will bring your stitch count for this row to 28 stitches. Now for the next row, into the first 2 stitches, again you're going to place a decrease. Then place a single crochet into the next 6 stitches, a decrease again, and then after that place 1 single crochet around until the end, for a total of 26 stitches for this row. Now for the next row, you're going to place 1 decrease followed by 4 single crochets followed by 1 decrease. So I'm done with my 4 single crochets. I'm going to do a decrease again, and then for the rest of the stitches just place 1 single crochet till the end to bring your stitch count to 24. Now for the next row, you're going to place a decrease followed by 2 single crochets followed by a decrease again, and then just 1 single crochet till the end for 22 stitches for this row. Now for the next row, you're going to place 1 decrease in the first 2 stitches. In the next 2 stitches, again you're going to place a decrease and then place 1 single crochet till the end for 20 stitches for this row. Now for the next row, you're going to place a decrease in the first 2 stitches. Then you're going to place 1 single crochet until the last 2 stitches and then place a decrease in the last 2 stitches. This will bring your stitch count to 18 stitches for this row. Now at this point, you can grab some of your stuffing and just go ahead and stuff the head and the body. When you're doing that, make sure that this little partition line that we created is clear. So you stuff your head and then push the stuffing to your body as well. Now for the next row, you're going to place 2 decreases. So first 2 stitches, you're going to do your first decrease, next 2 stitches, second decrease, a single crochet into the next 10 stitches. You should have 4 stitches left at the end. You're going to place 1 decrease each into the last 4 stitches. So you'll have 2 decreases at the end as well. The next row is going to be the same. Again, you'll have a decrease in the first 2 stitches. So we have a decrease here, decrease in the next 2, that's here, 1 single crochet for the next 6 stitches, and then you'll have 4 stitches left, 2 decreases on those as well. Now with every passing row, don't forget to keep adding your stuffing. Now for the next row, again you're going to do a decrease on the first 2 and then a single crochet into the next 4 and then a decrease in the last 2, and this will bring your stitch count to 8 stitches for this row. Now at this stage you can leave a long tail for sewing on. Snip your yarn off, slip stitch into the very next stitch, which is the one right here, and then pull your yarn through and then sew the back shut. Once you're done, this is what it should look like. Now let's work on the wings. So now let's start working on the wings. I'm going to be using the crimson red for this. We're going to be starting with a magic ring, and into this magic ring you're going to be placing 6 single crochets. So now tuck the tail end to close up your magic ring, and for the next row, into the first 2 stitches we're going to place increases. So I'm starting with the first one. I have 1 increase right here, into the next one again 1, 2, into the next stitch just 1. We're going to repeat that one more time. So again 1, 2, 1, 2, and into that last one just 1. So this brings your stitch count up to 10 stitches for this row. Now for the next row, into the first stitch you're going to place a single crochet. Into the next 2 stitches you're going to place an increase each, so that's 1, 2, into the next one 1 and 2. Now into the next 3 stitches you're going to place 1 single crochet each, so that's 1, 2 and 3. Into the next 2 stitches increases, so that's 1, 2, into the next one 1, 2, and you should have 2 stitches left. You're just going to place 1 single crochet into each, 1 and 2. Now for the next row you're going to place a single crochet in the first 2 stitches, so 1 in the first stitch, 1 in the second stitch. Into the next 2 stitches increases, so that's 1, 2, into the next one 1, 2, into the next 5 stitches 1 single each. Now into the next 2 stitches an increase, so 1 and 2, into the next one 1 and 2, and you should be left with 3 single crochets at the end. You're just going to place 1 single crochet into each of these, 1, 2 and 3. Now into the next 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3 and 4, place 1 single crochet each, so that's 4 single crochets, and after this you're going to chain 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. You've got your chains on this side. We're going to turn our work around. So if you turn your work around, you'll see at the back of the chains there are bumps. We're going to be working into these bumps. So on this side you have the chains, on the flip side you have the bumps. So now you're going to skip that first stitch. Into each of the next 8 stitches you're going to place 1 single crochet each going down the row. Now once you're done with your single crochets across, you've reached back to your little circle. We're going to slip stitch into the next stitch. Now you're going to turn your work around, and after that you're going to place 1 single crochet for 7 stitches for this row across the wing portion. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So if you see, we haven't gone till the end. We've stopped a little before that itself. Now you're going to chain 1, turn, and then go back again and place 7 single crochets. After you place your 7 single crochets, you've come back to your little circle. Again, place a slip stitch and turn your work around. This time we're going to place 5 single crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. You're going to chain 1, turn your work, place 5 back. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then slip stitch back onto your wing. Turn your work around. This time place 3 singles. 1, 2 and 3. Chain 1, turn, go back in place. 1, 2 and 3, and slip stitch onto the next stitch of your circle. Now you're going to turn your work around, place just 1 single crochet, chain 1, turn, again place 1 single crochet, do your slip stitch onto the next stitch, and that should complete your wing. So if you see, your wing looks like this. Now you're going to leave a tail for sewing on. Snip your yarn off and just pull it through. This is what the final wing looks like. Now go ahead and make a second one identical to this one. So once you're done with the 2 wings, this is what they look like. So now you can place them on either side, but if you see, if you place them on the right side, both the wings actually are identically the same. So you have the long sides on both and the short sides on both on the same side. So one option you have is when you sew it on, you can turn one of the wings over and sew it this way. So that way you have the short sides coming in front, the long sides at the back. Otherwise, if you wish to just do it this way, that's fine as well. So just to show you, in the other sample bird that I made, I actually sewed the wings both the right way. It doesn't look that odd. So it's up to you. You can sew them however you want. Let me show you how to attach the wings. Now to attach your wing, you're just going to thread it up. Go onto the side of the bird that you want to place it in. Go through a couple of stitches and then just place it in place. You can tuck the other end inside. And now the way that we're going to stitch it is we're going to go all around and then across, and we're going to leave the bottom of the wing open. So just to show you, this is what it looks like. You have the bottom of the wing open and you've just sewn it around this circle. So just do a simple stitch around. You can go through the green and then through the red and just attach this in place. So now that I finished sewing on the wings, I wanted to show you both methods. So here if you see, I have one which is facing this side and one which I've flipped over, and we're using the back side. So if you see, the short ends come together and the long ends are on the bottom. And when I did this one, I didn't do that. I sewed both on the correct side. So this end has the short, longer, and then the longest. This end actually has the long and then the shortest, so it's the other way around. But then both methods look cute, so you can do either one you want. Now for the beak and the feet, I'm going to be using some orange colored yarn, and we're going to be following the same pattern for 3 pieces. So 1 beak and 2 of the feet. You're going to start with a magic ring, and into the magic ring you're going to place 4 single crochets. Once you're done, just tug on the tail end to close up your magic ring. For the next row, you're going to place 2 decreases. So that's decrease number 1 and the second one for decrease number 2. So I'm not doing an invisible decrease over here, just a regular one. You can do an invisible as well. Now once you're done, you should have a little piece that looks like this. You can just snip your yarn off, create 2 more pieces, and then you can go ahead and sew these on. So to sew on this piece, the first thing that you're going to do is just pull it together and flatten it. And then you're going to place it just between the eyes and stitch it together. Once you're done, make 2 more for the little feet as well. So now once you're done with the beak and the legs, this is what your little bird should look like. Now you can leave it this way. What I like to do is add a little tail at the back. So let's start working on the tail. So for the tail, I'm going to be going in with the same yarn that I used for the body, which is the green yarn. We're going to be starting with a slip knot and then go ahead and chain 13. Now you're going to skip the first stitch, and into the second stitch you're going to place a single crochet and then place 1 single crochet until the end for 12 stitches for this row. Now for the next row, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work around. Into those first 4 stitches, you're going to place a single crochet each. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now into the next 4 stitches, you're going to place a double crochet. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Into the next 4 stitches, you're going to place triple crochets, yarn over twice, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. 1, 2, 3, and into that last stitch you have 4. Now for the next row, you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn your work around, and now we're going to place 3 triple crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, followed by 4 double. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to do 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now you're going to turn your work without chaining and just place slip stitches till we reach the bottom. So you're just going to insert your hook and pull the yarn through. Into the next stitch again, insert, pull the yarn through, and do that until you reach the bottom. Now that you've reached this side, you're again going to place slip stitches until we reach almost the middle. So that's right here, and into this space right here we're going to place 6 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. You're going to slip stitch into the middle of the tail. Again on the other side you're going to place 6 doubles, and once you're done with that, you're just going to slip stitch to the edge. So if you see, you have a little fanned tail which looks like this. Now you're going to snip your yarn off and then sew this to the bottom of the bird like this. So before I sew, I just wanted to show you where I'm attaching this. So if you see, this is the bottom of the bird. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 lines above. Between the third and the fourth line, I'm just gonna attach this in place like this. And here's the little bird with the tail attached. This is what it looks like. So on this one, I actually made it a little longer and I used a bigger hook. So you can do that as well if you want the tail to be a little longer. So now you can work on a little nest. The pattern is very similar to the way we started the head, which is a magic ring with 6 single crochets, then increase to 12, then keep doing rows of increases till you're happy with the size and then repeat rows. In the screen right after this, I'll have the entire pattern written down for the little nest. But once you're done, this is what it should look like. So here's all of the project complete. It's a very quick and simple project to make and looks absolutely lovely in the garden. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed watching the video, please share it with all your friends. Like the video and comment below and let me know what you want to see next. Subscribe to the channel and until next time, bye bye.